Virginia. Let's talk about, you're not going to change your choice at this point, Chuck.
Cavaliers, brother.
Kenny, who and why?
Well, I think, Virginia, I believe, is the better team, but I just think Purdue right now is hot. They look like Auburn did last night when they played North Carolina. They are on a mission. They're shooting the ball better. So, Clark, what do you think?
I'm going Cavaliers because of defense and improved offense. DeAndre Hunter will be in the middle of it all.
One spot is set. Either Purdue or Virginia will be joining Texas Tech in Minneapolis. We will get you out to third seed Purdue and top seed in the South, Virginia. That's coming up next. We'll see you at halftime.
March Madness at its best for a trip to the Final Four. Here's Jerome, and a three is good. Carson Edwards on the take. Oh my goodness, what a finish. Denied by Diakite. Klein step back three for the tie. Oh, he's done it again.
You want to go to the Final Four. It's not coming to you. You got to go take it.
What a night it was Thursday, and what a night it is going to be tonight. Prime time Saturday night. We welcome you from Louisville, Kentucky. 20,000 crazed college basketball fans ready to see this Elite Eight matchup between conference champions. The Big Ten's Purdue Boilermakers, the ACC's Virginia Cavaliers for the trip to the Final Four, and a trip next Saturday against either Auburn or Kentucky in Minneapolis. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Louisville, Kentucky. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson along with Chris Webber. We'll hear from Allie LaForce in just a moment. Congratulations to the Texas Tech Red Raiders, their first ever Final Four appearance. And now we're about to send another one here from Louisville tonight. It is Purdue and Virginia. And Chris, Purdue did it with the long ball. Purdue's hit 43 pointers in this NCAA tournament, including 15 in their win against Tennessee.
Well, Purdue's offense is centered around Carson Edwards. I mean, when you think about what Carson Edwards has done, he scored 182 points in the NCAA tournament. That makes him Purdue's all-time leader. But Purdue's going to need him to penetrate and facilitate tonight, especially to players like Klein, who went 7 for 10 Thursday night against the Tennessee Vols.
Such a hoops hotbed here in Louisville. This crowd's going crazy now. They're ready to see this matchup. Virginia, they're going to try to slow it down. They have a slow pace. They hang their hat on defense, and they are the best defensive team in the country at protecting the three-point line.
Yeah, because as you said, they play so slow, but they have the best scoring defense in the country, and they only allow 55 points. That's the best in the country, but check this out. Just in case you think you want to get hot, if you score 68, they are 31-0 when they hold their opponents to 68 or less. But look for them to get involved on the offensive end because they got some knockdown shooters as well.
All right, last time Virginia went to a Final Four, 1984. Last time Purdue went, 1980. Something's going to give here tonight, folks. We're looking forward to it. We got the lineups and the tip coming your way right after this.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Google Cloud, the official cloud of the NCAA. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. Marriott Bonvoy. Rewards reimagined. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
And here they are. The time has arrived. Owning the past, delivering in the now. These players have shined. The system has worked. Tonight they go from sweet to elite to the Final Four. Two programs with winning cultures, deep roots, and legacies passed down from one generation to the next. It's Purdue and Virginia, the South Region Final. Let the madness continue tonight from Louisville, Kentucky. What a scene here, what a crowd. And we are just about ready to get this one started. Allie LaForce was a scorer in college, but she's talking defense here tonight for the Virginia Cavaliers.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Chris. This Virginia defense has made a name for itself because of its pack line defense, stifling some of the best offenses in the nation all season long, holding them to 38% from the field. But what is a pack line defense? It's a half-court defense that packs in the paint, making it difficult to score inside. Basically, everybody but the player guarding the ball has to be in an imaginary zone that starts with a line 16 feet from the basket. Now, to ingrain this area inside the player's head, Virginia tapes down the area, often practice, and every player must have a foot inside the line at all times. Now, the pack line is also a mentality. Players will tell you the rotations and the communication to work and move as a unit for 40 minutes is very challenging. To beat it, you have to knock down threes. This is a Purdue team that's knocking down just under 10 three-pointers a game, coming off a game where they hit 15. Which style is going to give C-Webb? Which style is going to give Brian?
Well, I tell you what, there's so many high school coaches at home saying, you know about that pack line, you know about that shell drill. Watch this expert of defense tonight by Virginia.
The decorated players in these starting fives. Carson Edwards, top scorer in the Big Ten. Nojal Eastern, the defensive player of the year. DeAndre Hunter and Kyle Guy, first team all ACC. We are ready to tip it. This Elite Eight matchup. Ron Gruber, Tony Padilla, Bo Borowski, our three officials. Lee Cassell standing by, and away we go. Purdue controls the tap. A trip to the Final Four in the offing.
I'm just excited. The whole crowd was standing up, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Everyone in this arena standing on their feet.
Well, you played in games like this as a player. How do you come down from that high of the introductions and try to get into what you normally do?
Try to do the little things. If you can shoot, shoot just like that, baby.
Ryan Klein hit 7 threes against Tennessee. He hit 4 of them in the last 5 minutes that either tied the game or gave Purdue the lead. And who else would hit the first shot of this one than Ryan Klein, the 6'5" senior from Carmel, Indiana. Mamadi Diakite, no whistle, and the jump hook is good. Eifert took the flop, wasn't rewarded. And Virginia, their first points on the board.
Another way, BA, to get in your comfort zone after all the hype and the energy of the games, to do the little things. If you're a big fella, box out, rebound, set strong screens. Go back to the basics, and then you'll calm down as the game goes along.
We are 500 miles from Charlottesville here in Louisville. We are 200 miles from West Lafayette at about a 2.5-hour drive. And there's Matt Harms at 7'3". He is a beast in the middle, and he's got some finesse as well. His first bucket of the day.
Look at Diakite, how strong he is. Harms put his shoulder into the chest of Diakite, got a little bit of space there, and you got to like that start for Harms if you're a Purdue fan.
Ty Jerome, steady with the ball. Excellent score as well. Ty Jerome coming off 13 points, played all but 1 minute. As a matter of fact, these Virginia starters played most of the game on Thursday in their victory against Oregon. All but 12 minutes the starters played. And there's Edwards for 3. Klein and Edwards already with 3 balls in.
Offensively for Virginia, the first 2 offensive plays of the game, Purdue has tried to take a charge. It has been unsuccessful, but you need to make sure you gather your feet, because they made that a point of emphasis in tonight's game to try to draw one on the offense.
It took Purdue 99 points to win an overtime game against Tennessee. Virginia won with just 53 points against Oregon. And again, it's Diakite gets loose inside. Well, he is really emerging, Chris. The junior from Guinea at 6'9", Mamadi Diakite taking over in the starting lineup for Jack Salt.
Eifert a little slow on the rotation that time. I'm sure as the game progresses, coach is going to make sure that he gets over there on the help defense to stop that pass to the cutter.
Edwards again. He's got another one.
PA, the one thing about playing Virginia, if you get up on them, can you force them not to be as methodical, to maybe rush their offense a little bit? We haven't seen it yet, but that's the only strategy you can go with playing against Virginia.
Kyle Guy, Indiana native, knocks it down. This is going to be a 3-point shooting game here between Guy and Klein. They were AAU teammates in the Indianapolis area, rival high school players. That was a long 2. It was scored from Guy. Here's Edwards again. Number 3, no. His first miss, and Guy rips down the rebound.
Virginia has been successful already with 2 plays off of the pick and roll, finding the roll man with the slow rotation defensively of Purdue. Let's see if that's their style tonight, to try to get their dribblers and facilitators free off of pick and rolls early.
Kihei Clark runs the point. He and Jerome will handle the ball most of the time for Virginia. Tough shot, and it's Edwards. Lost the handle. They were fighting for the rebound. Edwards and Eifert, and it's Eifert who commits the foul. Can't fault the effort, but it was securely in the hands of the Boilers. And how about Carson Edwards at the start? He's all 2C'd up.
I tell you what, he's Purdue's all-time leader in points scored in the NCAA tournament. That means he can shoot that thing.
Here's a look at the Uber Eats tournament summary. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech out of the Big 12 headed to the Final Four. Purdue is hoping to make it to the Final Four for the first time since 1980. Last time they were in an Elite Eight game was in the Gene Cady days. And there's Tony Bennett back in an Elite Eight game for the second time. 13-8 record in the NCAA tournament, but he has not been to a Final Four as a head coach. His father, Dick, made it to a Final Four with the Wisconsin Badgers. And so that is the legacies that we watch. Gene Cady passed it down to Matt Painter, and the father and son legacy of the Bennetts. In the corner, coming out of the timeout, not there, rebound ripped down by Hunter, and Diakite, two-handed jam.
Never have a stop in the possession till you seal it with the rebound. That time, Purdue, they're going to have to rebound tonight by committee. You can't just leave it up to Harm. You just can't leave it up to Wheeler. Everybody has to get in there and box out.
Mamadi Diakite has a quick 6 inside to Harms. Cutting is no gel Eastern, denied by Diakite. Here's Guy out of the pack. Guy pushes it. Ty Jerome. Quick 3 is up.
Thought you said they played slow, BA.
Yeah, they're okay at this pace.
They're pushing it. They like it. When you have scores, you can definitely switch your game plan.
Aaron Wheeler on the floor for the first time. Unable to hit the 3. Harms taps it right to Clark. I think both coaches feel like they can play at any pace. Virginia would like to slow the pace. They play at the slowest pace in the analytic world in college basketball, but they're more comfortable with their new style of offense, playing at a quicker pace. And certainly Purdue is comfortable going fast in high-scoring games and low-scoring affairs. As Hunter misses badly.
That's how you change the comfort zone of Virginia. You make them play down. It's easy to play slow and methodical when you're up all game. But when you're down, that's when guys start to press it a little bit and come a little out of character. And for Purdue, that's what you want to try to force. But so tough. Not many teams have done it to Virginia.
Klein and Edwards, the 2 deadly three-point shooters for Purdue. Eastern. Nothing there. Shot clock down to 4. Klein. He is a tough shot maker, this guy. Brian Klein. He's hit a pair already.
That hitch, BA, it looked like his shot always is going to get blocked, but that hitch that he has takes it back another level where the shot blocker can't get there, and he can just kind of fling it up over there. Unorthodox shot, but I'll tell you what, it's beautiful when it goes in.
The mechanics of a fly fisherman, his coach says. But it works. Inside, DeAndre Hunter strong to the basket. He's on the Wooden Watch list. He's a first-team All-ACC performer this year. Injured in the tournament last year. Was hurt, had a wrist injury in that dramatic upset, the 16 over the 1, UMBC over Virginia. The Cavs have been able to erase that one this season. That was blocked again by Diakite. He is all over the place.
What recovery. How did he get back in the play? And we talk about the best defense in the country. It's because of the pressure of the guards in the passing lanes. And then the big fellas inside. Diakite, his second block.
Ty Jerome to Hunter for 3. And it's Klein who clears it away.
You can still take bad shots in a slow, methodical pace. So that still was a bad shot. That team wished they probably would have had that possession back. Hunter, he could knock it down, but it just seemed like that was a rush play for Virginia.
Keep an eye Klein coming around the corner. Guy is on him. Shot clock down to 2. Got to get one up. Wheeler does, and it's down. They popped the whistle to take a look. It was close.
Klein, the unorthodox shot. Look at the hitch. Look at the cock back. Bang, knocked down in here. Let's see if it was on time. He gets it out of his hands. I think so, but I'm not sure. But I tell you what, that's patience in an offense against a great defense like Virginia.
So these freshmen for Purdue clearly behind the line. Did he get it off in time is the question. Remember, normally in the rule book you would go by the sound of the horn. There is no chance you're going on the sound now. So it is the 0 on the clock above the backboard. So it hits 0.
Ooh, can it be closer than that? I mean,
we're going into the coaching toggle right now.
Yeah, looks like his hand is still on it if that's the last frame.
Well, here's what's important now. It was scored as good. It was scored on the court as off in time. Is there enough evidence to overturn here is the major question. And they do. They wave it off. Shot clock violation. Shot clock violation.
That's some good teamwork right there by the officials. Way to get together.
Let's bring in Gene Steratore. What'd you see there, Gene?
See, Webb, I couldn't agree with you more. It's a great job by the officials. And let's remember, because the shot was successful, that's what allows the officials to go look at a potential shot clock violation. If it were unsuccessful, they couldn't go one way or the other. But because it goes in, they look. After looking at the replay, it's just on his fingertips, and they do the correct thing and take that shot away.
Great summary there, Gene. Appreciate Gene being with us all March Madness. He's been outstanding, giving you great perspective. He'll be with you throughout the Final Four in the championship game. So it is a shot clock violation. And now Virginia with the ball. The guy sneaks in but can't score it. And it's Wheeler with the rebound.
Bring in Salt for Virginia. Got a little more muscle inside. And they also bring in Williams. It's going to be a lot of banging down there in the paint with those two big guys trying to hold it down for their teams.
Jack Salt, the redshirt senior, now in his 5th year in the program against the freshman, Travion Williams, who's got a lot of skill offensively. Comes up short. Wheeler back taps it. Hunter, the freshman, got it.
Purdue giving Virginia a little bit of their own medicine on the boards right now. Virginia with 2 offensive rebounds, 1 for Purdue, but that big one turned into a 3-pointer.
The freshmen for Purdue have been nothing short of tremendous in this tournament. You got Klein and Edwards on the floor with them. On the take, blocked by Wheeler again. The 6'9" was flying high. Pushing it, Klein. Now he'll get it back to Eric Hunter Jr. Hunter, Williams, Wheeler, giving Matt Painter some great minutes. There's a foul. Edwards was hit on the forearm. He'll have free throws when we come back. Purdue by 5, and a reminder, you can get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. And let's take a look at the Progressive Insurance first half game summary. Purdue already at it again. 45 made threes in this tournament through 3+ games. They've hit 5 of 7. Virginia is 0 for 4. It was Kyle Guy who hit a long 2 for the Hoos. And now Carson Edwards at the free throw line. Chris, he has averaged over 10 free throw attempts per game in this NCAA tournament. 32 free throw attempts. That was number 33. Now he's 26 for 33. A guy who gets to the rack.
And what you love about that, BA, he doesn't settle. That shows that he gives you a little bit of everything in his bag. And we've seen Klein knock it down. How about this? Klein and Edwards became the 4th pair of teammates in NCAA history to each have 25 points and 5 made threes. So I think we should expect a lot more from both of them as the game goes on.
And nobody in the Big Ten has ever made more threes in a season than Carson Edwards, as he hits a couple of free throws. Hit 2 free throws to tie the game and force overtime against Tennessee. 7-point Purdue lead. Virginia, Braxton Key air ball, and it's swatted by Hunter. DeAndre Hunter had the rebound. Eric Hunter stole it away from him. And a bad pass. Trevion Williams gives it up. Is that a travel? It is. Jerome walks.
I mean, come on, look at the play of Hunter Jr. First of all, on the other end, he gets the strip, and right on this end, he doesn't reach, which is the bane of existence for all coaches, reaching in the back court. Instead, he just stays there, does a little stunt, causes the turnover for the carry.
Mamadi Diakite back in. Braxton Key will sit. Nogel Eastern returns for Purdue. Big Ten first team all defensive team, Nogel Eastern. And he's usually the one that gets the offense initiated. And it usually finds the hands of Carson Edwards. Highest usage in college basketball this year, Edwards.
Purdue setting some great flare screens.
Here's Wheeler. And he rattles one home. Arriving at just the right time, the freshman of the Boilermakers.
This is when you want to see who Virginia is. We know their stats. We know that they play the slowest in the country. How do you continue when you have a team not scoring? Purdue right now on an 11-0 run. Can Virginia get it back?
Here's Guy, too strong. Diakite up there, and it is Salt who gives it to Guy, and he's fouled. Edwards got him across the forearm. That was smart. Kyle Guy could feel Edwards on his back and draws the foul. He'll shoot 3. Now, Coke is introducing new orange vanilla Coke. 3 delicious flavors coming together for the first time. You'll love it. Brian Anderson, Chris Webber, Allie LaForce, Scott Cockrell, our producer, Andrew Greathouse directing. And a great crew here in Louisville. And 2 #1 seeds already eliminated. Clearly behind the line with the contact. So 2 more free throws for Guy.
BA, I hear you on him feeling the defense behind, but there's not too many players in the country that have a green light like Guy. So whether he was feeling the presence or not, he's going to let it fly because he knows he can knock it down. Such a confident shooter.
Guy shoots a little over 7 threes a game on average. He is a career 43% three-point shooter. So that green is neon for Kyle Guy. He's really struggled shooting the 3 in his NCAA tournament career. At one point, he missed 17 in a row until he banged a couple in the second half against Oregon.
Watch the slip for the big men inside. They're setting the screens.
Wheeler, talk about feeling it. That comes up short, and big Jack Salt, the New Zealander, rips it down for the rebound.
Like to see Virginia be a little more patient in their offense. I don't like some of the shots they've been getting, and when they're deliberate, taking their time, it's so hard to stop them. Diakite working on Wheeler, a little shot flake, and gets the friendly roll. Mamadi Diakite off to a great start with 8 points. That's the patience that you want. He took his time in the dribble. You saw shooters kind of getting their space and a couple of picks made. They have to get back to being patient, Virginia basketball.
Here's Edwards. And it's good. Another one is down. Set up by Klein. Carson Edwards already on a roll. 11 points. All 4 of his shots from behind the arc. He's dropped 3 of them. And a whistle. Nogel Eastern trying to hawk. DeAndre Hunter will be called for the foul. Wow. Elite Eight. What a matchup. Conference champions in the regular season battling for a trip to the Final Four.
This is just my hair. How do I look? Do I look good? It's everything. People from here don't really get it. It might be a European thing. I really like it. A lot of people don't. I hate the guy with the hair. People say Ivan Drago. People say Morrissey. Yeah, I like it when people say Morrissey. People hate it when I touch it. Ivan Drago. And it gets a lot of attention for some reason.
The man from Amsterdam, Matt Harms, 7'3" sophomore. and his game just continues to evolve. Had 11-6 against Tennessee in the Sweet 16 matchup. Allie has more on the Harms hair. What do you have, Allie?
I love talking to Matt about this because he gets really animated. He's like, what do you want me to do? I have cool hair. And he touches it so much, but he goes, it gets in my face. That's what I have to do. So Coach Painter said, if you get 20 boards in a game, you can wear a headband. Otherwise, no.
Good answer there by Ty Jerome. So Virginia's gone down. They've scored a couple of baskets in the last 2 possessions after a 5-minute drought without a basket. And it's 25-19. Virginia's a very difficult team to run away from. They only lost 3 games all year, folks. 2 of them in conference play as Edwards misses just his 2nd miss. Carson Edwards is 3 for 5 from behind the arc already with 11 points. Clyde has hit 2 threes. Kihei Clark back on the floor. Edwards checks him. Jerome gives it right back. Sasha Stefanovic on Jerome. First minutes for Stefanovic, and Eifert rips down the board.
That's what you want to do if you're Purdue. Force tough shots, great play right there defensively, but if you're Purdue, you want to make sure you stay in the passing lanes and offensively execute, because you have Virginia right now kind of reeling on their heels, not playing with the comfort zone they usually have.
Edwards had the ball knocked out of his hands, so no travel. Now a foul on Ty Jerome. He thought it was a clean pick. But Jerome, who is a premium defender in his own right, got him across the chest.
This is what I mean about Virginia. They're really not known for fouling. And so already, and of course, the game has just started, but if you are a Boilermaker, you're saying we're kind of sticking to the game plan, not allowing them to just play teams to play us like they do other teams.
Just the 2nd Virginia foul. Eifert's going to pull a 3. And that's last touch by Guy, and that was Matt Harms and his hair that kept that one alive.
You think he got some product in there, or no, because he has to wipe his hair all the time? But as we see it, this is why you stay in the play. This is why you never give up on the play, because it's not about you getting the rebound. It's about you hopefully forcing that ball also off of another man's hands if you don't have position.
Carson Edwards will sit. He played the entire game, 45 minutes against Tennessee. Matter of fact, he's played, there's another foul. Kihei Clark. And it fouls Stefanovic. Now Carson Edwards has played all but 38 seconds during this year's NCAA tournament. Clear foul. And Clark will head to the bench. Kihei Clark picks up his 2nd foul. It's the 3rd team foul. There's only been 6 fouls thus far, with 6.5 to go in this first half.
You know, Clark can let it fly. The other night, they forced him to take the shots. He knocked him down. Purdue is deciding to do it differently, trapping judiciously, but really getting back, forcing long shots, packing the paint.
Where will the offense come from without Edwards on the floor? And Harms turns it over.
Those are the possessions you cannot give up to a Virginia team. You must get a shot off against the defense, or really your shot selection is your defense, because now you allow it to be a 4-point swing if Virginia can connect.
Virginia coming off their 9th ACC title. They won the regular season, shared it with North Carolina, and beat by Florida State in the ACC tournament. As Jerome, the little floater, not there. Here comes Clyde. Purdue wants to push. And Virginia gets back. And here's Clyde. It doesn't matter. That's a quick 3. Harms. And it's going to stay in the possession of Purdue. Once again, Harms. I think Bo Borowski saw it differently. And the officials come together. And they'll put the ball in the hands of Tony Bennett's Cavs.
Oh, it looked like it was off of Virginia there. It seems like they may have had the call right first, but bang, bang plays. That's why you want to make sure you gang rebound so that you don't allow the official to make a call, because you've secured the ball.
That's a break for Virginia. Carson Edwards back on the floor. He got a full 45-second rest.
That's enough. Get him back in.
That was more time off than he'd had the entire tournament leading up to this game. He's been a workhorse. Shot clock down to 9. Virginia very comfortable in the late clock scenario. Jack Salt with the left hand. There's a guy who could be a key in this game, Jack Salt. Three-point shooting is off the charts for Purdue, huh? 141 three-pointers made. Here's Klein, another one is up. And last touch, Eifert, Virginia ball. And Guy will sit. Say if you're headed to Minneapolis, download the Final Four app presented by AT&T to help you plan, enjoy, and share all the excitement of the weekend. Available for iOS and Android. UNC losing yesterday. Gonzaga taken down by Texas Tech. 2 #1 seeds are out. Virginia and Duke, the lone #1s remain. Here's Jerome. And he buries a three. Ty Jerome with a big hit. And all of a sudden, Virginia's within a point.
The resiliency of Virginia getting back to Virginia basketball, playing with their identity. When they just worry about playing Virginia ball, they have the advantage.
Wheeler back on the floor. Here's Edwards now. Cuts it. Edwards, little mid-range. It's good.
Did you see that split? I mean, he split the ball while he was catching it. It wasn't off the dribble. His quickness is amazing. He continually reminds me, man, of a young Derrick Rose at Memphis. How strong, and just his leverage getting to the bucket.
Stops an 8-0 Virginia run. And DeAndre Hunter answers with a little mid-range of his own. Hunter's second made field goal. DeAndre Hunter averaging 15.2 points per game in the regular season. He led Virginia scoring. Edwards for three. College basketball's version of Stephen Curry right now. Edwards is unconscious from behind the line. Fourth made three. Here's Guy. 4-3, no. And a back tap by Jerome right into the hands of Guy. Spins, taken on Harms. Disrupted the shot. Ball is loose. It is Purdue ball. Whoa. What a flurry.
Look at this catch. I mean, he scored 10 of the last 13 points for Purdue on that split. He's hot. He knows it, trying to get his team to the Final Four.
This is the greatest stage in all of sports. This team has got a chance to make history. 1, 2, 3. All season long, and it comes down to this.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 1-800-STATE-FARM. AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Capital One. What's in your wallet? And by Pizza Hut. Official pizza of March Madness.
Coming soon to TNT. See why critics rave that Claws is one of the best shows on television. Don't miss the new season of Claws on TNT. Now 2.5 hours from Mackey Arena, one of the loudest arenas in all of college basketball. And Carson Edwards has him in a frenzy here in this first half, Chris.
What more can you say about Carson Edwards? He's scoring in every way, getting other guys involved, but the shots, the difficulty on each shot. I'll tell you what, he is hot because he is knocking them down. And just when you forget about him, seems like Klein catches it and knocks one down from deep as well.
Klein has 6 of those 14 by the rest of the team. Here's Klein now. He's hit a couple of threes. Now Edwards, why not? And Salt rolls. Wheeler comes away with it. He'll fire a three. Jerome pulls down the board. Purdue is getting some looks from behind the arc. They are now 8 for 17 from three-point range. 17 three-point attempts already. And the best defensive team in the nation protecting the three-point arc, the Virginia Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter, 2-man game with Salt. Nothing there. Diakite for three. Missed badly, and it's Edwards with the board.
Great defense by Williams that time. Because he went down and doubled, he forced Diakite to take the tough shot, and that's what Purdue is doing. They are not letting their shooters shoot, and Guy just went down, and it looks like he hurt his right foot or ankle, and his team doesn't see him.
And finally, the whistle blows here. Guy down in a heap.
Let's go, Kyle!
Yeah, so Tony Bennett sees his first team All-ACC performer in Kyle Guy down writhing in pain. Pops up quickly. Let's see if we can find. Oh yeah, right there. So it gets tangled up there with Eric Hunter Jr. and rolls the right ankle. Ethan Saliba, longtime athletic trainer for the Virginia Cavaliers, will do all he can to try to ease the discomfort of Kyle Guy. And the longer he sits, and we're just 2:09 from halftime, that is going to be a headline when we start the second half. Bottom right of your screen here.
Oh, yeah. Stepped on it, looked like he made him twisted. And if you're Purdue, you can't fall asleep or be happy the guy is on the side because Clark is here. And we saw what Kihei can do. He can score, but right now he's staying the facilitator, but such a tough point guard. He always keeps his team in the game.
Kyle Guy sits 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. Under 2 minutes to go and a whistle. And let's see who this belongs to. Ryan Klein, perhaps. Yep, Klein will get the call. The guy already has the shoe off. And the athletic trainer, Ethan Saliba, is currently in a rewrap, trying to get him back on the floor as fast as he can. They don't even bother going back to the locker room. Diakite missed the dunk. There's Salt. And Salt misses, but a foul on Trevion Williams. Good action by the Virginia bigs. Diakite and Salt. Tony Bennett already getting more out of his bench than he did in the Sweet 16 game against Oregon. Hey, a reminder coming up on AT&T at the half. Greg, Clark, Kenny, and Charles will have first half analysis. They'll show you how Texas Tech became the first team to punch its ticket to this year's Final Four. It's AT&T at the half.
Wheeler has been the battery in this Purdue's back defensively. That was a great block by him on Diakite's dunk. That should have been good. Wheeler with the great play.
1 out of 2 for Salt.
8 assists for Purdue on 10 field goals. That just shows you how they've been moving the ball around tonight. Not a lot of one-on-one shots by them. All their shots coming within the offense, assisted by a teammate.
It is Hunter who checks Edwards now. Blocking foul on DeAndre Hunter. And Tony Bennett is stomping mad. Arm across the shoulder. Bo Borowski right there. Tony Bennett told him, you cannot make that call.
Definitely a tough call right there.
Here's Edwards on the inbounds. And Harms keeps it alive into the hands of Diakite. 3-point game. Virginia down with the ball. Minute 22 remaining in this very entertaining first half.
Watch out for Jerome roaming the baseline. Screens being set for him. Also Salt inside.
Diakite. And he gives it back to Clark. Plenty of time. 9 on the clock. Jerome. Kihei Clark. He'll pull a 3. Gets his own. Clark gives it up. And Diakite with the layup. Great pass from Kihei Clark.
No look from Clark right there. He grabbed the attention of Harm and the big fellas of Purdue with his eyes toward the basket. He said Sykes pulled it back and makes a nice drop off.
13-5 Virginia run. Purdue had a 10-point lead at 22-12. And a couple of Virginia runs now. Hunter gives it up. Ball's popping, but Virginia right with every shooter. Klein now to the hole. Diakite there. Klein, no. And it's Diakite with a board. Shot clock is off. What a defensive stand by the Hoos. Chance to take the lead as we go to the halftime locker room. Clark goes to work. Hunter right with Jerome. Gotta get one up. Oh, and a foul. Eric Hunter Jr. fouls Ty Jerome with 1.2 on the game clock.
Look at Clark's eyes right there. He made everyone think he was going to go for the shot. Then this play right here, the last 2 calls, I don't necessarily agree with them. A little physical, but that's what you want to be. denying, but you do the right thing. You attack when there's too much pressure, put the referee in a tough position. Hopefully you get the call if you're on offense.
AT&T takes us above the rim. One of the best plays of the night. Mamadi Diakite with the swat. He's got a couple of blocks already. All right, Chris, so that was a foul on Hunter. Purdue, I beg your pardon, had a foul to give, so it'll be side out for Virginia.
We'll see what the setup comes. And that block that you talk about, our own Allie LaForce talked earlier about that pack zone, and he was in that pack zone coming over to help, and Virginia's been doing a great job of that. That's how they've gotten back into the game. Patience on offense, getting back into their defensive principles, namely the pack zone. And right now, you have to watch out for the guy with the hops out there. That's number 30, Huff. He can go to the hold for an alley-oop, and watch the guy picking for the shot.
Kyle Guy back on the floor. Retaped ankle. Here's Diakite. Turnaround. Air ball. And that'll take us to the end of the first half. Purdue by a point. Carson Edwards goes for 16. 4 made threes in the first half. He had a couple of free throws as well. And Matt Painter's Boilermakers up a point as we hit the half. And let's send it to Allie LaForce, who is with the Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Coach, how did you put your team in a position to knock down all of those threes in that first half?
Yeah, well, I thought we had some good threes that we missed too. So it's hard to get a good look against them. So whether it's early in the shot clock or late in the shot clock, you got to take your rhythm shots.
For most of that half, Virginia had to settle for contested jumpers. How do you keep them uncomfortable on offense?
Well, I think first of all, you got to be able to contain the dribble. When they broke us down there, they came off some curls, got into the middle of the lane. We got to do a better job of staying with them. But more importantly, you got to stay with those shooters.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Purdue led by 18 in the Sweet 16 game against Tennessee. Had to go to overtime to win it. They were up 10 tonight. Up a point as we go to the half. AT&T at the half after these messages.
This is AT&T at the half. AT&T, giving you more for your March Madness thing.
First 20 minutes gone by in Louisville. Purdue trying to make a Big Ten entry into the Final Four. And Virginia, the #1 seed, standing in their way. Welcome back, everyone. 30-29, Boilermakers in the lead. Here in New York with AT&T at the half, I'm Greg Gumbel along with Clark, Kenny, and Charles. Not a lot to choose from between these two teams over the first 20 minutes, although Purdue frittered away a 10-point lead.
They did. Actually, it was kind of a crock pot comeback by Virginia. It is
crock pot.
Crock pot. Just simmered it. Simmered it. Yeah, it wasn't a fast cook. They just kind of milked their way, and they did it by getting inside. Mamadi Diakite getting it done. He had 10 points to lead the Cavaliers in that first half. Here's DeAndre Hunter. He had 4. But again, points in the paint, 14-2 in favor of Virginia. Second chance points +4. That overcame the 8 threes that Purdue was able to make in that first half.
Purdue got the start to the game that they wanted.
Got the start to the game, and watching Carson Edwards over the summer and into this season right now, size would one thing I would try on him, quickness and size. But when you put somebody who has the agility or the same size as him, I think he's just a better basketball player because it's like shooting over a chair. And for him in the first half, that's what I was looking at in Kenny Vision. I think overall, just the ability to just come off this screen, and I don't care how great a player Mr. Clark is, he's not big enough to defend this. In the same way here, even when he gets it out here, Carson Edwards gets it, he can size him up, and I can see the rim, bucket. And then this last play is just my main man, Aaron Willard, just because I've known him since he was like 3 years old, 2 years old. So I just had to get him in the highlights because he had his 3. His dad and I played against each other in high school, and I'm so proud of Aaron. And
like shooting over a chair.
Shooting over a chair.
That actually is a phrase we use quite often in basketball circles. I said before the game, Carson had to get 30. He's on pace for 30. To me, he's the only player on that team. No disrespect to Mr. Klein, who had a fantastic last game. As good as defensively Virginia is, I don't think Purdue can score enough unless Carson goes crazy for 30. But Virginia played very well. My guy, Cal Guy, he is 1 for 6, 0 for 3. He's been in a slump pretty much the whole tournament, in fairness. But I think if I'm Virginia, I feel pretty good. They made 8 for 19 threes. I don't think they can consistently shoot that in the second half. I still like Virginia.
All right now it's a 1-point game, 30-29. One team already has a seat in Minneapolis. The West Regional Final, Texas Tech and Gonzaga. Davide Moretti, the 3.
He was so clutch down the stretch. That was a big one there. Basically put the comfort zone on it for Texas Tech. Great block here, but you see there Tariq Owens was out of bounds when he retrieved that ball. That should have been Gonzaga ball. That is not a reviewable play, so we played on.
They did get the steal right afterwards.
Yeah, got the pilfer, and then Josh Perkins stepped into a 3. But a good look for Kispert. And at the end of the day, made free throws down the stretch. Here's a reach in over the baseline. That is deemed a technical foul, it was called, which allowed Texas Tech to select their shooter. It was Moretti. He calmly knocked down a pair of free throws. That also led to ball possession being retained by Texas Tech there. And you see the emotional contrast between the Raiders and the Zags there. One on to the Final Four, and a great season comes to an end for the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Yeah, Kenny, Chuck, I thought the Red Raiders showed a lot of character against a very good Gonzaga team.
Well, you know what they showed? Great defense, slowed down, great offense, just enough. You know, it's always that contrast. You had the best offensive team against the best defensive team. And we said, could Texas Tech score enough points and bring them back down to the pack? It was a perfect scenario. They made every play down the stretch. But today, great defense beat great offense.
It's funny because I've watched 3 in the entirety of Gonzaga's losses. I've seen 3 in the entirety. And each one were different. Each game was different. So Texas Tech, the way they played, did not play the same way when North Carolina beat them. So I'm not really sure which style will get them. But today, I thought the length, I thought the athleticism on key moments was the difference. But every loss that I've seen in the entirety, they lost different ways.
Texas Tech won at 75-69. Gonzaga on their way home. Texas Tech on their way to Minneapolis. We'll take a time out here, back with more on AT&T at the half after this.
And away we go. Oh, boy. The big dance.
Best day of the year.
War Eagle in effect. Great to have you with us, everybody.
Oh, this is getting good.
Look at this. Incredible. Oh, the kid. Why not smile?
What a moment in March.
March Madness rolls on. And let the madness continue.
As the road to the Final Four continues on to Minneapolis, our journey here on TBS ends tonight. We've certainly had a blast along the way.
Ah, yes, that day is here. Welcome to the road to the Final Four. Kenny's found something new to do during in between shows.
Oh, you're supposed to turn it.
No. How would you know?
I don't think push-ups fair.
Why?
They're easier for smaller guys.
Thank you.
They're easier for people who are in shape.
Our Kenny Smith, a.k.a. Dr. Victor Frankentarheel, has put together his perfect player.
Don't look at me like that.
Hey, if you said something crazy like that again, ratchet is real. I'm going to come across his desk on you.
Time to play a little March Madness geography. We talked about the Liberty Flames. What's their nickname? I just said it.
And I got the Virginia Cavaliers as my national champion.
Well, this is concerning because I also have Virginia winning.
If we beat Kansas and North Carolina, I'm going to retire. Get out of here with that garbage. This ain't playing slow. This driving Miss Daisy. I do snack time. I love that. That's part of the beauty of living.
You said you were going to wear the uniform. I'm wearing my uniform. Where's your uniform?
It didn't fit. We're going to get out of the fog, and we insure it with the law.
Where did you get that from, man? You're not strong enough, Clark, to get him down where he's too strong.
You never heard of Granny Smith's apple pie?
Yeah, I have. Okay, there you go.
Why am I?
Because you Smith, fool.
Yes! Oh, like I got you.
I'm just thinking of one word, woodshed. Took him out behind the woodshed, Clark.
War Eagle.
There it is. There we go, baby.
There it is.
There we go.
I lost the bet.
But that's okay. We're all ready to rip.
CBS and Turner.
Getting you ready for the tip.
Well, we're asking about our favorite moments of the tournament.
Can I tell the folks what yours is?
Go ahead.
The rapping puppets.
Yeah, that would be it. I do like Bruce Pearl's enthusiasm on the court and in our interview. The guy is just, it's contagious.
He makes you want to play. He's a great coach as far as X and O, but his enthusiasm, Tom Izzo, those two are the coaches who their team takes their personality.
Your favorite tournament moment up to now?
Oh, get out of the fog.
It's sure with the log.
It's sure with the log.
He sat on that line for 2 days. It was my old business card from way back when I sold
Captain
insurance.
Push-Up, what do you got?
Opening night. I mean, obviously, the graphic room, messing with those guys with the push-ups, that's fun. Yeah. But the opening night, when you have the gamut of everybody opening up and everyone with the expectation that they could be Cinderella or they could be the king.
CK.
That's it.
My man's Charles Barkley seeing his alma mater make this great.
That's your favorite moment?
Thank you, Clark.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Thank you, Clark.
By the way, I love all the push-ups in there, and then you come in here with the
Hey, I still got it, brother. I still got it.
No
question, baby. I still got it.
Coming up with a trip to Minneapolis on the line. Now let's send it over to our special contributor, Phil, who has predictions for the rest of the game.
Hey guys, I'm here with Inkstradamus, the game predicting octopus. He's going to tell us who's going to win, Team 1 or Team 2. Come on, buddy, who's it going to be, Team 1 or Team 2? Wow, I got the one octopus who doesn't watch sports. You know, I almost had your friend at Cuccinello's the other night, but instead I had the gnocchi.
AT&T would like to remind you that just okay is not okay, whether it's Phil's game analysis or wireless networks. Thanks for watching AT&T at the half.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Samsung. Meet the next generation Galaxy S10. IBM. Let's put smart to work. Apex Legends. Play now, rated T for T. And by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Just about ready for the second half as you take a look at the lows. First half stats. Purdue come out firing from three-point range, but got cold quickly. Virginia climbing out of a 10-point hole within a point. Virginia head coach Tony Bennett moments ago with Allie LaForce.
Coach, we saw Guy injure the ankle before the half. How limited, if at all, will he be in the second?
I think he's okay. He's warming up there right now, so we'll get a quick feel.
Purdue did most of their damage in the first 12 minutes. You did yours in the last 8. What was the difference?
I mean, they hit some tough shots. We just got to keep trying to bother those shooters. We'll start with some length with Dre on Edwards, and then when they do miss, we got to limit them to one shot and get the rebounds and then run our offense hard.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, it's good intel there from Tony Bennett. So they start with some length on Carson Edwards in DeAndre Hunter. It was the bigs and the bench for Virginia that helped them climb back out of it.
Yeah, the bigs definitely did, as you mentioned it. 14 paint points. That gives you extra possession. You see the threes, but they changed the dynamics once they got going inside. Purdue only 2 points in the paint. Are you kidding me? But if you're going to be 2 for 12 from three-point land like Virginia, you got to dominate inside.
Teams in the Big Ten this year against Purdue, when you tried to slow down Carson Edwards, you put size on him. DeAndre Hunter at 6'7" will try to cool off the hottest shooter in the NCAA tournament in Carson Edwards. Guy is on the floor to start this second half. He puts it into Jerome, and away we go. Half number 2, a trip to the Final Four up for grabs. Would be the first Final Four appearance for either of these programs for the first time since the 80s. 1984 for Virginia, 1980 for Purdue. Jerome with Salt, nothing there. Here's Guy, gets up the first shot and hits a 3. And a good sign for Cavaliers fans. That is their first lead. They trailed by 10 with 9 minutes left in the first half.
Virginia doing their job, knocking down a 3. They were only 2 for 12. That was a big one. Now, let's see if Purdue can get the ball inside. They average 29 points per game in the paint tonight. Only 2.
Into the hands of Jerome. You got Salt and Diakite on the floor together. Virginia got just 12 minutes out of their bench in their Sweet 16 victory over Oregon. That's it, 12 minutes. Salt played 12 minutes off the bench in the first half, and he starts his second half. Here's Jerome, little floater, back iron, and Harms is fouled by Jerome. Ty Jerome picks up his second foul. So there's the man who sits with the size on the floor, Kihei Clark, the smallest player on the floor typically.
Maybe the scrappiest. He has a lot of heart out there, but right now, Virginia choosing to go with size. But you can bet your last dollar Clark is going to finish this game.
Klein, little step back. Salt is on him inside the Harms. Guy got a hand on it. Saved by Eastern as he crashes into the photographers. Great effort by No-Gel Eastern. Stay in the possession of Purdue. There's 9 on the shot clock.
We've seen their under the rim play calling before. You have to watch for a screen. Eifert or Epworth usually back screens for harm. They'll have an open lane, or whoever back screens may have a wide open shot because the defense has to guard.
Ryan Klein will put it in. Here's Edwards. Wants it. Lost the handle. Steal for DeAndre Hunter. How does size affect Carson Edwards? You think he could just blow by guys?
Yeah, and actually he can, but on that time he lost his dribble, but size always helps, especially when you got a guy penetrating.
Here's Guy open again, and he's 2 for 2 in the second half. Went down with an ankle injury in the first half, came back for the last possession, and now he's buried a couple of trays. Great start for Virginia. Edwards with Hunter on him. And Diakite with the rebound. So far, the move by Tony Bennett has paid off in the early minutes of the second half.
Yeah, Purdue's going to have to play tough Big Ten basketball because they're going to have to shore up the inside, both with rebounding and getting a couple of scores inside. Klein, he gains the foul right there, but Guy hasn't been the most consistent. But it doesn't matter. He's here now, and he's 2 for 2 in the second half from beyond the arc.
He had been 1 for 6 when he went down with the ankle injury. And so Purdue ball after the foul. 2 turnovers for the Hoos here in this second half. Purdue started this game 7 for 10 from behind the arc. They've made 1 of their last 10.
Tell you what, Salt is doing a good job in there on harm. They can't get the ball into him.
Here's No-Gel Eastern, springs free, gets by Jerome, who's sitting there with 2 fouls, and an easy deuce for No-Gel Eastern.
That's what you need from Purdue. Get points in the paint. That's only their 4th point, their 2nd bucket in the paint all night long because Virginia has been dominated inside.
And by the way, that's the first points by a Purdue player other than Carson Edwards since the 9:46 mark of the first half. That one is going to go, and a foul as Jerome, a chance at a 3-point play. So silky smooth with the basketball. And that quick little floater he has.
This is the patience of Virginia. You're taking time, no forcing a shot. They really didn't have assisted buckets in the first half. Now, though, 8 assists on 15 field goals. That's Virginia's way to play. They're not one-on-one guys. They're system and team-oriented, and they need to get back to their identity if they want to dominate and win this game.
Virginia in their round 1 matchup against Gardner-Webb, a 16 seed. Remember, they were down 14 in the first half, having to answer all those questions about losing to UMBC. The 16 seed last year, first time it ever happened in NCAA tournament history. They were able to come back. They were down the entirety of the first half here tonight. Hunter on Edwards. Shot clock at 9. Edwards trying to shake him, and a foul. Hunter got him on the arm.
I like the penetration by Edwards. Do not settle for a 3-point shot. Hunter has about a 4-inch 5-6-inch advantage over you. Therefore, he's going to make it difficult for your jump shots. Right now, it's about getting into the paint, getting fouls on their big guys, trying to, as a guard, you can wear down the big guys as well through foul trouble and making them tentative, not wanting to block their shots, trying to avoid the foul.
Second foul on DeAndre Hunter. Here's the lefty Harms. And it's Salt who pulls down the rebound. I think Virginia's A-OK with Harms shooting threes. Only took 21 3-point attempts the entire season.
It seems like maybe Travion Williams needs to come back out here. Right now, Eifert trying to guard Diakite inside. And not that he can't guard him, but you still got to get offensive rebounds, box out. Just a lot of work for the guy.
Diakite with Eifert on him. patient, and Diakite, no, and it's Harms. Ball's on the floor. Here comes Eastern. 3-on-2. Eastern, little crossover, and the layup is good. No-gel Eastern, one of the premier defenders in the Big Ten, turns defense into offense.
And this is what he did the other night, Thursday night. He let his defense speed up the pace for Purdue because when he gets a steal, he's going all the way. He's not trying to slow it down and set it up.
Guy for three, and another one is true. Kyle Guy, 3 for 3 in the second half. 13 on the board for Kyle Guy, first team All-ACC. Salt against Harms, big bodies going at it, and Harms scores the basket with the left hand.
Again, I mean, basketball is all about repeating the same things. That's what those coaches are doing over there, trust me. And for Purdue, get it inside. Harms going to work. Get the easy bucket off the jump hook.
Here's Jerome on the take, gives it up. Nice catch, Diakite, up foul. And free throws coming for Mamadi Diakite. No-gel Eastern, picked the pocket, got the steal, the scoop for the layup. What a setup by Jerome, and Kyle Guy, just in the nick of time, has found his stroke.
Traveling, baby! Way to hit it! What a pass, too! Oh! Come on, tee it up, No-gel! Man, this is a hell of a game. They are tough. Wow.
He is right about that. Mike Klein, father of Ryan. You saw his wife Mickey there as well. Mother of Ryan Klein, and what a performance he had in that Sweet 16 game against Tennessee. 27 points in 29 minutes. It was a career high for him. So Carson Edwards commits the foul, his third foul. That puts Diakite at the line for 2. A 69% free throw shooter. First one is true. Hey, who delivered the Buick expectation-shattering performance of the day? Tune in to Inside March Madness, presented by Buick, to find out.
Tell you what, Hunter for Virginia, only 2 for 4 points, but what he's been doing in this game with this one steal and hounding, I mean just hounding Edwards with his size. He's having a defensive masterpiece tonight in this second half so far.
Virginia was down 10 in the first half at 22-12. Eastern gets it back on the cut. Wheeler, oh, missed the dunk, but he's fouled. Man, was he up there.
Think coach wants them to get the ball in the paint? And that was 2 plays. First the post up and then cut and go to the paint. And this is the type of activity you need. I know that 52% of your points, if you're Purdue, comes off of the 3-point shot. But it's still so unbalanced tonight. You have to make sure you keep the defense of Virginia on their toes.
And Wheeler comes up empty on his first try. Don't forget, you can watch every game live on your phone, tablet, computer, and favorite streaming device with March Madness Live. You can watch right now, ncaa.com/March Madness, or download the app today. The freshman from Stamford, Connecticut, Aaron Wheeler, 1 out of 2 at the line. Virginia went from down 10 to up 7. After Guy hit that 3, it was Purdue's largest deficit of the tournament thus far. Purdue beating Old Dominion in round 1, took down Villanova in a 16-point win in the second round, and then over Tennessee in the Sweet 16. There's a putback by DeAndre Hunter. And the Hoos are up 8, under 14 minutes left in regulation. And the lineup change has worked for Tony Bennett as they've gone big against the Boilermakers.
Let's see if Purdue right now moves Edwards off the ball or in the pick and roll to get him a little action. He has to get going.
Edwards for 3. Buries one over Hunter. His first make of the second half. He's got 5 from behind the arc. 19 points for Carson Edwards. Jerome for 3, and an answer for Ty Jerome.
That was a defensive mistake by Edwards. He tried to shoot the gap. He looks at coach and says, sorry about that, but You never shoot the gap on a shooter when you have two screens coming. He gave back the three. He just knocked down.
Edwards, a long-range three. How about it? Nothing but net. Back-to-back possessions for the Big Ten's top scorer this year. Five-point Virginia lead. Salt doesn't look for his shot often. Jerome runs into the double team.
Good help by Harm that time on the baseline. Getting in the vision of Jerome.
Hunter, no. Harms and Salt. Back tap to Guy. New shot clock. And Jerome calling for it. Guy says, I got this under control. All he needed was a fresh ankle wrap. He's been hot to start this half. Diakite with Wheeler on him. Diakite, no. Salt, the putback.
Great effort by Salt. Harm didn't have to go over and try to block the shot. When Harm went over to double team on the shot, he released his man. Salt just to come in. When you have your teammate having the offense in good position. Speaking of good position, Edwards, anytime he has the rock on a line dribble behind the three-point line, is in good position because he's a threat to drive it or knock it down from Curry land.
He's made 25 threes in this tournament. That is a record for the first 4 games in NCAA tournament history. Guy for the answer. Oh, come on now. What a game. The shots are falling as Kyle Guy delivers. Time out. Wow. Back and forth they go. Edwards. First team All Big Ten. Kyle Guy. First team All ACC. 7-point Virginia lead. Tracy Morgan, Tiffany Haddish, they're back in the TBS original series, The Last OG. Watch a special presentation tonight after NCAA tournament coverage. Take a look at the Buick second half game summary. It has been a flurry of threes. Carson Edwards and Kyle Guy. I got to give it to Kyle Guy. He started this tournament in the second half. He had gone 3 for 29 from behind the arc. 3 makes, 26 misses, but he's in all 4 threes in this second half. Shooter shoot, right?
That's right, shooter shoot. And 9 offensive rebounds for 11 points for Virginia. They got to get some work inside. Williams, he has a nice jump hook over the left shoulder.
Trevion Williams working on. Salt gets the bounce. They go right to him. This is the man you were calling for during that last window.
Yeah, you got to take some pressure off of Eifert, who is checking Diakite, who's about 5 inches taller than him. Let the big boy Trevion go to work inside. Get some paint points if you're Purdue.
Here's Guy once again. And no, it's Williams with the rebound. That's Guy's first miss of this second half. Now 4 for 5 in the second half. Eric Hunter Jr. will initiate the offense. Edwards playing with 3 fouls. Trying to get by Hunter. Cannot. Step back. 2 is good. A long 2 for Edwards. It's all falling now for Carson Edwards. He's got 27.
And if that matchup works, what happens is you keep Hunter away from the basket. With Hunter's size and athletic ability, you need him at the basket. But right now, he's trying to discourage Carson Edwards from going to the hole. It's not working.
Jerome, that was deflected by Williams. No over and back. Williams of Purdue got a hand on it. Shot clock at 5. Hunter on Jerome, behind the back. Jerome, and he's fouled.
Oh, no. That was some good defense, but look at the shoulder shake getting to his spot. And the left shoulder, Williams trying to get some paint points, and Edwards, he's going to use his speed. 9 for 14, 7 for 12 from the three-point line, 27 points for Edwards.
Time for the double take replay presented by Orange Vanilla Coke.
Edwards and Klein, they've combined to make 243 threes this year. That's second most all-time by a major conference duo in the past 20 years. You want to know who number 1 is? That's Shane Battier and Jay Will. Shout out. But these young fellas, they're letting it fly tonight.
Kyle Guy caught fire here in this second half. Made his first 4 threes. Now 4 for 5 from behind the arc in the second half for Guy. Tied Jerome at the free throw line. And a good chance to hear from Allie LaForce. What do you have, Allie?
Guys, Coach Painter has been so animated the last couple huddles, really asking for a lot of his defenders, telling Klein and telling Edwards, stay tight on their shooters. You got to get through the flare screens no matter how hard it is. And as you watch them, even when Edwards makes a big three, Coach looks him in the eye and says, now defend. He said, we're going to watch film. You're going to see your hands in your pocket.
There's that quick release, Allie, and Edwards. No, and it is Guy. He got it out of the hands of Williams. What a play by Kyle Guy.
Yeah, next time Edwards comes off that curl, he may want to go up for the shot and fake like he's going to shoot it and shoot it down to Williams, who's wide open, because Salt comes up and he has to honor the shooting prowess of Edwards.
It's good stuff from the Purdue bench from Allie right there. Virginia's made 7 threes. Up top for Salt. Too short. Williams denied it. Eric Hunter Jr. on the attack. Goes right at Jerome and scores the layup. That is how you finish in transition right there.
Talk about a Euro step. Can I have this dance right now? That's when he just went to the hole. But again, we just heard Allie LaForce talk about it. Coach Painter doesn't care. He wants Edwards and the guys to get right on the defensive end.
Kihei Clark back on the floor. Three-pointer no good. Offensive board, Diakite. And a foul on Wheeler.
This is what Purdue needs to do more of. When Hunter Jr. gets the ball, he attacks. Purdue needs to get in the passing lanes, get some steals and deflections to get some easy buckets like this, because tell you what, Virginia, they don't beat themselves.
Virginia with the ball. Diakite to the bench. And Kihei Clark back on the floor as Salt is the big man for the Hoos. And a turnover. Or was it deflected? I don't know. They're saying it was deflected. Now, under 2 minutes, you can take a look at it. But we're not there yet. And Tony Padilla.
Yeah, I don't know about the confidence in that, because he held both hands up like, I don't know, after he made the call. You either have to go ask your teammate. This is a big game. There's no time for guessing. Don't hold your hands up and say, I don't know. Go ask your teammate and get the right call.
Maybe Wheeler got a hand on it. Here's Jerome. No, back iron. And look at Wheeler just spring-loaded into the hands of Clark, though. Another chance here for Virginia. Jerome sets up Guy. That's his spot in the corner. And Guy hits another one. What a beautiful setup by Ty Jerome. Put that pass right in the pocket. Here's Edwards for the answer. Oh, you know it. Carson Edwards again. He's got 30 on the board.
Clark looks at his coach and says, my bad, coach. I missed my defensive assignment. Harm is back at the scorer's table, about to check in to help shore up inside the paint.
DeAndre Hunter with Wheeler on him. On the attack, little turnaround jumper. No, Salt back tap to Clark. Offensive rebounds are stacking up for Virginia.
That's because Williams went over again. The bigs of Purdue need to stop going over when they have the defense shored up in the paint, because they're letting men rebound.
Guy for three, in and out. Williams with the board. Edwards, oh, deep three. That was an early shot. You live with it, though, if you're Purdue. He's got 30 points. Kyle Guy hits his 5th three of the second half. Retake the ankle. It's got the old coach spitting mad, Gene Cady.
Want more NCAA tournament info? Hey Siri, show me the Elite Eight schedule.
High-level basketball we are witnessing here in Louisville tonight. The South Region Final. And Chris, for Virginia, the decision to go big or small. Jack Salt back in the game for the Hoos.
So Salt has done a great job. 14 second chance points for Virginia. You got Hunter, one of your tallest players, hounding Edwards on the other end. It's up to Diakite and also Big Salt to hold it down in the paint for the team.
Full court pressure here. Just show pressure by Purdue. 7:40 remaining in regulation. What a game this has been. Kyle Guy and Carson Edwards are just going off here in the second half. Edwards has 30. Kyle Guy has 19 tonight. DeAndre Hunter gives it up. Salt. Trevion Williams on him. Left-handed jump hook. No. And Williams with the rebound and a foul on Virginia. It'll be on Diakite. That's number 2 on Mamadi Diakite.
Good defense right there. Harm going in, and yeah, over the top. He's climbing that shoulder, and that's why you wanted Harm back in the game, the big fella. And let's see if Williams can put a little pressure again on Salt along with Klein.
A 3 to tie, and Williams goes to work. Boy, that is silky smooth right there. The freshman Trevion Williams. He's got a lot of tools in the shed offensively.
He smacked the floor on defense. You know what that means. It's Final Four time, baby. He's telling his team, we got 7 minutes to do this.
1-point game, Virginia in the lead. Jerome for 3! Yes, sir! Ty Jerome extends the Virginia lead. 19 for him. His 4th made three-pointer.
He saw the mismatch. He knew that Williams couldn't keep up with him. Gave him a little hesitation move, got his space, and got back in. But Purdue, let's see if you go back to the well. Williams has been killing inside.
Klein passes up a 3. Back inside to Williams. The spin. Oh, and it's blocked by Diakite. The denial. Well, those three-point numbers that just popped up on the screen. I mean, it has been electric here. Virginia's made 7 threes. Purdue looks content to try to pound the paint right now with their star young freshman.
Look how many guys from Virginia were packing the paint in there. As you see, Coach's dad in there. All the experience, all the love. But right now, his father, Dick, and right now, you still want to continue to go to the well.
Shaw got a hand on that. Shaw was able to knock that pass away, and it's a Purdue turnover. It is their 5th turnover. Virginia by 4 as we approach the 6-minute mark. Trip to the Final Four to the winner. Hunter rises up, misses, and the putback by Kyle Guy.
You see the smile by Guy. He says, I usually don't get those, but that's what you need to do right now. Do the little extra things, attacking the glass, getting that extra possession for his team.
That was Carson Edwards who led him in front. Eric Hunter. Harms. Edwards on the take now. Kicks it. Hunter. He'll take it. The lefty fires. Never had it in the grip. And it's Williams with the offensive board.
Yeah, he wasn't ready for that shot. He didn't have it, but you can go right back into Williams. You don't have to go away from him. He's being denied. Right now is when Purdue needs to stick with what works for them. Either head Edwards, Klein, or go inside.
Edwards for 3. Yes! He's buried another. He's got 9 made threes. 33 in the game for Carson Edwards.
Oh, man.
Jerome, short, Hunter gets it to Williams. He's on the move. Oh, he was fouled. That was going to be a breakaway dunk. And Hunter Jr. was fouled. It's a good foul by Virginia. Ty Jerome.
Really smart foul, and no, Hunter Jr. wanted to give it up a little bit earlier. He had Williams going, but again, the presence of Trevion Williams inside has been the difference in this second half. It hasn't just been Harm on an island by himself trying to be the anchor of the defense in the paint or the offensive anchor. Let's see if you get back in the pick and roll, give Edwards some.
And Edwards drives, and the scoop is in. Or just when you get comfortable behind the arc. He's one of the great drivers in the game. And he scores with ease. And Purdue is within a point. Does Virginia have an answer? Nogel Eastern, their best defender, back on the floor, guarding Jerome. Kyle Guy, step back, long 2. No. Williams with the board. Purdue can take the lead. Edwards on the attack. Edwards, short. And there's Eastern, and Purdue is on top.
And they're doing it with the dirty work. That's their 6th offensive board. Since you had Nogel Eastern come in and Williams, they've added some physical play inside. And they've said, wait a minute, Virginia, we know you're great, but you're not going to just push us around in the paint.
7-0, Purdue run. And Hunter is fouled. The shot was blocked. DeAndre Hunter fouled on the floor. Tony Bennett's favorite line, calm is contagious. It is anything but in Louisville tonight.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Booking.com. Be a booker. Allstate. Are you in good hands? Orange Vanilla Coke. Yeah, you heard that right. And by Shazam. On April 5th, just say the word, Shazam.
Welcome back to Louisville, where we're witnessing history. We got a game going on. Carson Edwards doing his thing. You see that anytime you pass Steph Curry on the great shooting. Buddy Hield, this is just an epic performance by him tonight, and also getting other guys involved, B.A. This is the type of play you want from your leader.
Well, he's hit 27 threes. That ties the overall record. That's your guy, Glenn Rice, Michigan, 1989, 6 games to do that.
Oh, that was a special year.
I bet it was.
Yeah, but this is only 4 games. Wait a minute.
This is the 4th game.
Wow.
For Purdue, and he's already at 27. It's Virginia ball to have an answer. Oh, what a basket by Kyle Guy. Up and over 7-foot 3-inch Matt Harms. That was big lead right there from Kyle Guy. Edwards sitting on 35. The scoop comes up short. He is fouled. And that's going to put Purdue in the bonus now. 1-1 with 3:21 remaining. Purdue down a point with Edwards. A clutch free throw shooter at the line.
So smart by Edwards. He realized that Hunter was not on him anymore, so he didn't have to use his moves to get a step back. Clark is on him, and yes, Edwards has been penetrating, but he will penetrate a lot more with Clark on him, that he has the size advantage.
Calmly knocks down the first. 84% free throw shooter during the regular year. Carson Edwards hit 2 money free throws at the end of regulation in their Sweet 16 matchup against Tennessee after he was fouled on a 3-point shot. He missed the first, made the next 2, and they forced overtime. He buries 2 and gives Purdue a 1-point lead. 3:16 to go in regulation. Kihei Clark back on the floor. Sultan Diakite and Jerome. That's a whistle to wave it off. This is as impressive of a tournament as you can have. Rewriting the record books. Carson Edwards, 37 points now in this one, including 9 made threes.
And I guarantee you, this is something we probably can't track, but I know he has the record on distance in threes. You got to understand, it's been very rarely has a player had the green light like this. We mentioned Curry and Buddy Hield, but that's shooting with your foot near the line, not shooting way out by the marker. This guy, he has it going.
Virginia joins Purdue in the bonus. Matt Painter took over for his mentor, Gene Cady. Jerome buries 2, and Virginia is back on top. The coach is here. Dick Bennett, father of Tony, is here. What a finish we're set up for in the South region. Coming up next, get all the tournament highlights and analysis on Inside March Madness, presented by Buick. It's only on TBS. Texas Tech punched the first ticket to the Final Four today, beating Gonzaga. Now Purdue and Virginia coming right down to the finish line. 3:09 remaining. Possession arrow will belong to Purdue if there is a tie-up. Purdue has 3 timeouts left. Virginia just 1. And now it's Clark with a steal. Diakite's got it. Guy runs the floor. He's got Jerome on his wing. And Guy goes. And it is partially blocked by Harms. Purdue gets the ball back, avoiding disaster in transition. And there's Guy again. A steal for Kyle Guy. It's Virginia defense.
Williams trying to be unselfish on that play. He looks over to his coach and says, "Coach, my bad. He should have went to the jump hook and stayed with what worked." Look for Carson Edwards on the next play to try to attack Clark as Jerome is trying to attack the Purdue defense.
Diakite with the offensive board. Put another 30 on the shot clock. Could take us under 2 minutes. Kihei Clark has been relegated to the bench as Tony Bennett has decided to go big often in this game. Salt and Diakite together on the floor.
The bigs with Purdue are staying too long on the pick and roll. Harm must show and get right back because they're passing it to the big guy who just dribble hands off. That's an offensive foul.
And no whistle. Bo Borowski was ready to blow the whistle. It's another offensive board. I thought he was going to call it. He didn't.
That was a blatant two-hand push-off. Give me space offensive foul. I do not see how all three officials missed that call at the top of the key.
It looked like he was ready to put the air in it, but he never did. 15 offensive rebounds for Virginia. Well, this is an eternity on this side of the floor defensively for Purdue. Jerome steady, and it's blocked by Eastern. Harms has it. Purdue down a point. Minute 23 left.
If you're Virginia, get to that pack line because Edwards is coming. And if you double team, look for the open man.
Timeout, Matt Painter. And Matt Painter gets off a shot for the official, saying that was a foul.
Couple of no calls here. He didn't get that. He smacked the backboard. And here, this is a foul anywhere.
Catch your breath. That's a game reset. Purdue has the ball. Down a point. 2 timeouts left. Virginia has 1 timeout remaining. Both teams in the 1-and-1 in the bonus. And on a held ball, possession arrow belongs to Purdue.
Watch Edwards attacking, but Virginia may double team him. The bigs have to be ready to slip the pick and roll right away and have their hands ready to catch.
Here's Edwards for the lead. Oh, and hit the window! Call that glass! Purdue on top by 2 as Edwards buries his 10th three.
ATM is open 24 hours. You don't have to go to the bank anymore. He doesn't have to call that. That's good, but now you have to lock down and watch for God who's roaming the baseline with Jerome.
What a game. Trip to the Final Four. Here's Guy. Comes up short. And it's Guy who gets his own. And did he step on the baseline? He did. Purdue ball.
The move, sometimes you have to be lucky. But when you're 10 for 17 threes, it is good. That was for 40 points for Carson Edwards here. Look at the effort.
Oh,
he did not touch the line. No, yes, he did.
Yep.
At the end, a great job with the official who trailed him baseline to follow that call like a defender. Great call.
And no review either. Confident in the call. They play on. Purdue with the basketball. Down 2.
Watch for the slip of the pick and roll. Of course, Edwards wants it, but if he wants to be smart, he needs to let them get it to the big guy off the double team.
Could be the game right here. Here's Edwards for 3. Short. Offensive board. Grady Eifert. Shot clock is off. They got a foul, and Klein will go to the line. The former walk-on, Grady Eifert, secures the biggest offensive rebound in Purdue history.
Isn't it only right? Eifert has been fouling and battling, and look at his pops up there. That's what the NCAA is about. It's not just about the kids, it's about the parents that drove these kids to practice and encouraging them the whole time. Eifert battling all night long with Hunter inside, gets the biggest rebound of the game.
Ryan Klein to make it a 2-possession game. North Carolina, number 1 seed, lost. Gonzaga, top seed, lost. Virginia on the ropes, but they got a chance here. Down 3, shot clock off.
Coach is telling Harm to foul. He's telling Eastern to foul.
Which will send him to the line for a 1-and-1. Great Painter.
Great call by Coach Painter, but a better job by Harm and Eastern to look over to the coach and see that on the side. Why? You know Guy can knock down threes. You know Jerome can knock down threes at a heavy pace. You want to put them in the line, but it doesn't matter if you don't box out Salt or Diakite or the rest of the players trying to go for the rebound on the second shot for a miss.
Virginia has dominated the offensive glass, but when they needed a defensive rebound, it was Grady Eifert who secured it. 2-point game. Jerome, short, back tap, Diakite, a race for it, into the hands of Clark, got a chance to win it here, up the front, is Diakite for the win, goes! For the tie, Diakite squares it at 70. It looked like he got it off in plenty of time. The call on the floor. Basket good.
Diakite, he sees the time. He floats it up over the outstretched arms of harm. This is what you have to love. This is what the tournament is about. Neither team has been to the Final Four since the 80s.
This overtime made possible by Buffalo Wild Wings. What a game. And the mad scramble after the missed free throw by Jerome, and it was Diakite who ties it, just getting it off in time. Run down by Kihei Clark. And Diakite. Catch, bounce, shoot. Wow.
That's why you have Kihei Clark out on the floor. He delivered a half-court, no-look pass. He looked to the sidelines to make all the Purdue defenders think that he was going to a player behind the three-point line. Flicks it to his big fella. Those are the intangibles of your leader. And again, what a big bucket by Diakite.
Purdue beat Tennessee in overtime in the Sweet 16. They're 3-0 this year. 5 minutes on the clock. 70-70. Two teams trying to make it to the Final Four for the first time since the 80s. Purdue controls. Well, that was a flurry. That was the first field goal of the half for Mamadi Diakite. Edwards sitting on 40 points. Knocked it out of his hands. And it's last touch by Edwards.
Edwards did not touch it last. Edwards did not touch it last.
Oh, he might have. It looks like a good call. You don't look at it until it goes under 2 minutes in regulation and overtime.
Tell you what, both of these teams are playing their hearts out right now.
And for Jerome, Clark finds him. No Gel Eastern on him. Purdue's best defender. Guy working on Edwards. Shot clock down to 8. Here's Guy, 4-3, short. And it's Edwards with the rebound.
Guy wanted that shot. You gotta love it if you're a Virginia fan. The heart that these guys have shown to get back in the game. And let's see if Purdue can go back inside, a dose of Edwards, and try to get the ball back in the paint.
Klein has been very quiet tonight. Made a couple of threes early. Has just 7. Barnes working on Diakite with the right-handed jump hook that time. That's his offhand. Purdue has the lead.
Tell you what, if that's his offhand, what is he gonna do with the other one? Hitting his space there. He's skinny, but he moved the big fella out the way with a nice shoulder work.
Late clock again. Down to 5. Jerome's got to go. Jerome splits it. Jerome up high off the window. He scores! What a bucket by Ty Jerome.
Jerome is getting anywhere he wants to off the dribble because he can shoot it so well. You have to guard him, and he uses that when you don't give him any space to blow right by him.
Inside to Harms on the take. Denied by Diakite. They're saying that is Virginia ball.
Harms going inside. Look at him getting a little space in there. Going up the nice jump hook. Finishing strong, but on the other end, Jerome getting anywhere he wants to for the flip shot. And this is pack line defense. This is those guys deep in there and the great block shot.
It was a good call. It wasn't a block. He just lost the handle, hit the side of the backboard.
Refs are doing their job in overtime, I'll tell you that. Making some good, tough calls.
Tied at 72. 2:42 remaining in the first overtime. DeAndre Hunter goes right by Eifert. Blocked by Harms. Edwards on the attack. Eastern pass it up. Who's willing to take those big shots? Coming down the wire here at OT. Klein, little fadeaway. No, Eastern. No, foul. Foul on Virginia. Free throws coming for Nogel Eastern.
The help side defense. I bet you after this game, coach will let him wear a headband and play with his hair all he wants to. Harms in there, owning the paint. He and Diakite tonight, the help defenders, they both have done a great job shoring up defense inside for their teams.
The original call was on Ty Jerome. They have changed it to DeAndre Hunter. That's big. It would have been the fourth on Jerome, but Hunter gets the foul. And Nogel Eastern at the line for two. Around and down it goes. Matt Painter is going to bring on his big men. Trevion Williams. Williams and Harms throughout the course of the year weren't on the floor together often, but that has been the difference for Purdue tonight. Eastern to give them a 2-point lead. No. 1 out of 2. Diakite with the board. Virginia can take the lead here as we go under 2 minutes of this first overtime. In a heavyweight battle in Louisville. Even Muhammad Ali would be proud of this one. Jerome in the corner. Hunter now with Harms on him. Nothing there for Hunter. 5 on the shot clock. DeAndre's got to go now. Gets by Harms. There's a foul. No shot. Foul on the floor. Free throws for Hunter.
Hunter attacking. I mean, Hunter, he has done it all tonight. Harms did not like the call. He's working so hard, but Hunter 3 for 9. That does not tell the story. 5 assists as we have the 1-and-1. What does tell the story is his first half and second half defense.
79% free throw shooter. Buries the first one. All tied at 73 now as the freshman Aaron Wheeler enters for Eastern. Matt Painter going offense for defense.
With Eastern going out, you're losing a lot of muscle, but you're still gaining that athletic ability with Wheeler, who now will be on the wing. You see the big fella knock down the free throw.
Clutch free throws for DeAndre Hunter. Here's Edwards forcing the issue.
He's going to draw 2. Don't take the quick shot if you don't have to.
Edwards, a little mid-range. And Diakite taps it right to Guy. Big board for Virginia. Now the Hoos have the lead. Minute 23 left in the first overtime.
This is when I love Clark, the team's leader. He's settling down the offensive team, getting into the other guy's hands, but you have to watch him. He's so sneaky good. This is when he usually shows up with a big play that you wouldn't expect.
Great ball handlers on the floor for Virginia. Here is Hunter. Oh, he passed it up. Now on the take, and Edwards, and it's off of Hunter. Edwards got a hand on it. Last touch by Hunter. Purdue ball.
Harm has been helping everyone on the defensive end tonight. He got a little help from the guard. Stick the hand in off the knee. Purdue's ball.
Under a minute to go. Overtime number 1. The foul trouble that exists. You got Trevion Williams with 4 and the 3 Cavaliers with 3. And so Tony Bennett and Matt Painter both have employed different strategies here tonight than we've seen from these two teams throughout the course of the year. Both going big with 2 of their big men on the floor. Williams and Harms for Purdue. And then Salt and Diakite for Virginia.
Added 0.3 to the clock. When the ball hit out of bounds.
The official Ron Groover just came over. They're going to add 0.3 to the clock. So it'll be 1 minute exactly. And Purdue with the basketball. Down a point.
For Purdue, this isn't the lineup that got them back in the game. Eifert again has to battle with the player that may be bigger than him, but Hunter in the game. Let's see if Purdue can get it inside. But the defense of Virginia, this is when they usually make a stand.
Edwards picked up his dribble. Gets it right back. Now Edwards on the take. Edwards gets in the lane, and Edwards scores! Purdue is on top!
Hard to make a defensive stand when that man Edwards has the ball. But you still have to watch out for Jerome and Guy. And again, the rebounding of Diakite and Hunter inside on the offensive boards.
Hunter goes to work on Eifert, powers his way in. What a bucket by DeAndre Hunter! And Virginia now in the lead. Shot clock is off. Matt Painter with a timeout. Wow. Two stellar drives to the basket by the two top scorers. Edwards now with 42 points. And DeAndre Hunter, he's been quiet, but two big ones right there. Puts him into double digits.
If Hunter had not been playing defense the way he has all night, his team would not be in this position. He was quiet offensively, but he's been the mainstay. He and Diakite for the Virginia defense.
So that was Virginia who called that timeout. They're down to their last. What a game. I mean, this is something else for a trip to the Final Four. Talk us through a little strategy here if you're the Boilermakers.
Well, obviously you want a great shot. You have 26 seconds on the clock. Edwards, you know you wanted this in his hands. He has Klein, but also look for the slip of the big fella because they're going to double team it and take it out of the guard's hands.
Virginia with one timeout remaining. Purdue has two left. Again, if there's a held ball, that possession arrow now belongs to Virginia. Carson Edwards with 42 points. He went for 42 against Villanova in the second round. 10 made threes.
If you're Virginia, no reaching in. No silly fouls. If you're Clark on Edwards, you know that Edwards is going to attack you. Trust the second line of defense. This right now is when you can play the perimeters and let your pack defense, that blue line that we talked about before the game, take place.
Three-point shooters all around Matt Harms as Edwards on the dribble with Clark right with him. Diakite there. Game clock down to 11 to 10. Edwards, step back. Three is up. No good. And it's pulled down by Guy. They got a timeout, and they get it. It's a foul. Did they get the timeout first, or is the foul called? It's big because it could be free throws if not. So Virginia in the lead, and it is a foul. And two shots coming for Kyle Guy.
I would say that's a tough shot, but he's been knocking them down all night. And look at Virginia. You have one of the smallest guys on the court getting the rebound, doing it by committee.
Puts him up two. Always clutch free throws. Almost too much to take. Three-point Virginia lead as Kyle Guy delivers big free throws in the clutch. 5.7 left. Purdue down three as Virginia uses their final timeout. Kyle Guy with 25 points. Rolled his ankle late in the first half. Virginia, last time they were in the Final Four, 1984. Been a long time for the Cavaliers. As great as they have been, they were a 7 seed, Olden Polynice, Ricky Stokes. They won the East Regional. Ended up losing to Houston in Seattle. And Tony Bennett, 5.7 seconds away, but Purdue with the ball.
See if Coach Painter makes any substitutions. This is when you can go straight offense for defense again. If I'm Carson Edwards, I do want to take the shot, but I have to understand I may be double teamed, and I need to talk to whoever sets the screen for me, telling them to slip.
This is how we got to overtime. A scurry after a missed free throw ended up in the hands of Diakite. A chase down by Kihei Clark. A bullet pass and a quick release by the junior from Guinea, and that tied it. It looked like Purdue had it in the grasp. They were up 3. They fouled Jerome. And somehow Virginia got it square. Here we go.
Right here, watch the baseball pass to a big guy, or Carson Edwards on the run.
Carson Edwards looking at the clock. And a bad pass. And it's turned over with 1.8 remaining. And now Virginia can put this one away. Oh, for a game as brilliant as this, it could end on a turnover. They're going to take a look at the clock here. But Edwards has to be sick. He was looking for Klein. Oh. And that could be Purdue's season.
That was a tough play call there, expecting Edwards to dribble up toward half and to make almost a half-court pass right there with the defense of Virginia. I think maybe it would have been better to get it to the big fella and hit Carson Edwards on the run so the big fella could set a screen on the dribble handoff while he's getting the ball to Edwards.
Well, the agony of the Boilermaker fans, they thought they had it. What a rally by Virginia. Purdue now takes a timeout. So Matt Painter will extend it.
The best defensive team in the country for some years. They embrace the moment of defense. It's much harder to score than it is to get a stop many times. But this team, this Virginia team, they knew what they were doing. They were very confident on that last play.
Take it for granted. Got to get the ball in bounds. And then there's certainly going to be a foul. Got to make your free throws, and Virginia can make that trip to the Final Four.
Yeah, and if you want to look back to Purdue right before overtime, if they would have made that free throw, definitely would have sealed the game. But again, Diakite, he had different plans.
So they did add some time to the clock. 2.1 remaining in this overtime period. Still replaying that turnover in his mind. He's been brilliant all tournament long, all season long. 42 tonight from Edwards. 2.1. They put the 7'3" Matt Harms on the inbounder, Ty Jerome. Virginia up 3. Clark's got it. There's the foul. And Kihei Clark can put this one to rest. He's an 82% free throw shooter. The cat quick Kihei Clark, no match for Ryan Klein.
May not show up in the stat sheet, but this kid is the team's leader.
Calmly knocks down the free throw. A 2-possession game now, and Virginia starting to feel it. Even Dick Bennett with a smile. What a comeback. Down 10 in the first half. It was Clark's rundown and the subsequent pass to Diakite to tie it. And that's it! Virginia advancing to the Final Four for the first time since 1984. The first #1 seed to punch their ticket to Minneapolis. The Virginia Cavaliers are headed to the Final Four. What an extraordinary performance. And the first trip to the Final Four for Tony Bennett, matching his father, who took Wisconsin to a Final Four, and the second father-son duo to go to the Holy Grail of college basketball. John Thompson and John Thompson III, the other. Carson Edwards with 42. Mamadi Diakite with the tying basket. Goes for 14 tonight. Some huge rebounds. And Virginia joins Texas Tech in Minneapolis, and they'll await the winner of Auburn and Kentucky. Let's send it to Allie LaForce.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Your first trip to the Final Four as a head coach, the program's first since 1984. What are the emotions like for you right now?
Feels pretty good. Thankful. These guys came to play. This was a road game. I don't know, being the #1 seed and playing it, but special game by Edwards, everybody. Very thankful, very blessed, and no one knows what this team's been through. I do, and it's good.
Thank you, Coach. He wants to give all the credit to you, Kyle, all the credit to the players. That's what Coach is all about. What was the feeling like when you were huddled up with your team when it became a 2-possession game with the 1 second on the clock?
Man, we're just so happy. We've worked so hard for this, and we've come from so far. The way last year ended, everyone probably counted us out. But man, I'm so proud of our guys and our coaching staff and our beautiful fans. I can't even put into words what this means.
You were huge tonight with 25 points. You couldn't hit a 3 this whole tournament. Then you get hurt at halftime and you come out and you drain 3 3-pointers. How did you overcome it all mentally?
With my faith in the Lord and my team, I told everybody that I don't believe in slumps, and that's a bad word in my household because I always feel in rhythm, and when my guys are trying to find me with that much confidence in me, it's hard not to bang a few. So,
what do you want people to remember about this Virginia team?
That we can do anything we put our minds to, and we're making history. We made bad history last year. We're making great history this year.
Final Four, here you come. Congratulations.
Thank you.
1 year after being the first #1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. Tony Bennett said, own it. It's part of your legacy. Now own this year and make this part of your legacy. And the Cavaliers are going to the Final Four.
You know what else he mentioned? He mentioned that trembling courage. Playing in the midst of being down, leaving it all out there, being vulnerable with your emotions and your effort. It's all risk and reward. And I tell you what, they put a big risk in, but they're rewarded. Congratulations to the Virginia team.
Even Ralph Sampson getting emotional up there. This team was down 14 points in the first half to Gardner-Webb in the first round. And everybody's thinking, here we go again. Not the case. Sweet 16 to Elite 8 to the Final Four, the Virginia Cavaliers. Thanks to producer Scott Cockrell, director Andrew Greathouse, Donzel Floyd, Sean Gerchikoff, and Sam Poulos, our associate directors. In graphics, Jeff Paris and Morgan Farr. Tom Barbary, Joe Castellano, our statisticians. I'm Brian Anderson saying so long from Louisville for Chris Webber and Allie LaForce. We'll see you next time. And Virginia headed to the Final Four.
There's no better two than two buddies.
South Regional Championship trophy to Coach Bennett and the Virginia Cavaliers.
Hey, I'd like to thank, we've been in this building and we've always been the road team and it didn't change, so congratulations to Purdue. Your fans were amazing. And that was a heck of a game. But no one knows, but these guys in this locker room from last year at the end of the year, what we endured, and that was special. I can't tell you obviously how proud I am of these guys. And this is special. My dad's here 19 years ago. He beat Purdue to go to a Final Four, so it's kind of fun being his son, following in his footsteps. But all the credit, first, I thank the Lord. That's everything to me. And all the credit goes to these young men, how they fought and how they battled. So we're very thankful. I'll shut up now. Thank you for showing up, and go Hoos!
We begin from Virginia, Kyle Guy. From Virginia, Ty Jerome. Also from the Cavaliers, Mamadi Diakite. From Purdue, Ryan Klein. And the most outstanding player of the South region from Purdue, Carson Edwards.
Behind the three-point line. Or I'm gonna block the shot. You need to move back behind the three-point line.
Okay?